What up? What up? What up? What up, world? It's me. I'm back. This is episode 13, I want to say, of the What It Is and What It Isn't podcast. I am Ron Inspires, Ronald, whatever the hell you want to call me. Y'all don't know who the hell I am, but I'm back. I am. I'm changing some things, going in a different direction. We're going to disregard all the bull crap that's going on in media, social media, or wherever it may be. And we're going to get into some things that's, for some self-improvement, some mental health things, and get everything out on the table. I first want to start with myself, of course, how I got to this point of my life, where I am, where I hope to take it, and how I plan on leaving my mark and my stamp on this earth. Of course, born and raised in Chicago, everybody knows all that crap, but born and raised in Chicago, rough upbringing. Everybody's upbringing was rough when you're an African American born in the inner city, so that's not breaking news. Rough upbringing, just kind of going along with everything. And, I got to a certain age, I hit 30, and I kind of wanted to figure out what in the fuck or hell or whatever it was I was doing while I was walking this earth or just living. My goal was to have a great job and, take care of my kids, pay that child support, and, of course, see them when I can and, hang out with my friends and do some traveling and just enjoy life. And then, certain conversations were being had around me in different environments, whether it was work or family or friends. And everybody just seemed to be preparing for death. Nobody was living while they were here. And it was something that started to bother me. And me figuring out my purpose and what it was that I wanted to do while I was here on this earth, and how I wanted to leave some type of impact and not just be swept up in the dustpan and thrown in the garbage like dust. I discovered that, a lot of other people didn't understand that they had a purpose. Just a realization that you are here for a reason, because we all have to first get the understanding and put this into perspective that us being born is a miracle in itself. The odds of that happening is slim to none. And then for you to be born and be born in America, regardless on how it was founded or what it's about now or how you think of it, it is one of the best countries in the world. And to be born here and be born in this era and living in this time frame, a time frame where I can record a podcast without top-notch equipment, or I can go online, write my opinions, and have the world see or hear or whatever, or neighbors or friends or family, without me being directly in front of them, is amazing. The amount of things that you can do with life now, and the prospect, and just creating your own avenue for yourself, even if you are following the blueprint of others. But, you think of something and you want to do it and you just go after it, I think is amazing. So after hearing conversations of people living after retiring, and what is your retirement fund, and so on and so forth, and I'm thinking, this is what we're working for? We're working towards retirement? Like, that ain't living. It has to be another level or another, understanding to this life. I don't want to be a glorified middle classer, or whatever label that it is that Americans put on people based on their financial income and status. I just didn't want to be that. I want to be more than just that. I want to be a person that is not worried or overly concerned about his 401k or his retirement fund, or if it's going to be there when I do retire at 65 or 63 or whatever age, but I know it's in your 60s, and that's too fucking late to be considering living in this life. You waste 60 years of working hard at a company or a place that doesn't appreciate you to the level that you should be appreciated, and you're using your great talents, know-how, skills, wisdom, and everything for a company that is not going to pay you what you're worth. You know what you're worth, and you're worth more than $50, $60, $70, $100,000 annually. That's bullshit. When now we're at a place, and even before it was harder. Now it's easier. Now you're at a place where you can go out and become who you want and make the amount of money and create your level of comfort that you would like to in today's age. So hearing about retirement, realizing that we get stuck in these routines daily, get up, make this, do this, take these people here, go to work, have lunch here, get off of work. And then we're doing this routine, and the entire time that we're doing the routine, we can't wait for Friday to get here. We're living for the weekend. And then Monday, people have the blues. They don't want to go to work. If you're living like that, you're not living. You might as well just hang it up and go to the funeral place or funeral home and start preparing, because you're already out of here. You're done. You can forget it. That's not living. You know, being a zombie, that's almost zombie-esque. You know, that's you're living in an apocalypse. I hear certain individuals talk about, you know, the zombie apocalypse and preparing, and, you know, even though they're joking, but shit, we are the zombies to a certain extent. We just get up and walk and do and feel, and we hear things like that's the American way, or, you know, just that's how things are. No, that ain't how things are. That's how you follow. Stop following what's been laid out for you, when now, especially as an adult, you can create your own way. There's going to be some sacrifices that's going to have to be made. You're going to have to go through some trials and tribulations and some misunderstandings and some self-doubt and a lot of things. But me just paying attention to that, I realized that I didn't want to work necessarily for anyone and have them pay me and rely on that paycheck. And then, you know, say for instance, you're with a company and they decide to go in a different direction with their company and cut jobs. Then you're out of a job. Then you're looking for a job. Or they say, hey, we don't like your position anymore. Let's change this position. It's not lucrative to our business. Let's get rid of that. So you're relying on another individual to pay you and put their name on your check in order for you to cash it, or and you get paid every 2 weeks. Like, that's annoying in a sense as well. Also, so it's just, I'm looking at these things and how much control I don't have over my life. And to live this life and have no control over it. And it seems another thing that I realized and sparked a change was the fact that as an adult, it seems like we have less control over our lives than we do as children. We can't wait to become adults, but we apply so many more responsibilities to ourselves that it limits what it is that we can and can't do when it comes to living. And then we apply the responsibility of just being an adult, and you got to carry yourself this way. You got to look like this. You got to go to these type of places. You can't say these type of things. You can't dress this way. You can't look this way. There's all these rules that have been applied by other human beings that we follow as adults. And then we use terms like, well, that's what adults do. Who says who? You know, like, says who? Just because the masses follow these bullshit rules don't mean you have to follow the same bullshit rules. And I decided that I didn't want to just be a follower anymore. I kind of wanted to figure out who the hell it was that I am and who I will be in the future, and just at least establish some type of foundation. So the move to Miami was something that I've always wanted to do, and I did it. You know, there was a shakeup at my job. I took a severance package and I got out of there. And I was extremely happy that, and this happened around the time that I was just looking to go and quit. So it kind of just worked out with itself, and I was able to leave and still get paid while I was gone for a few months, and be able to take care of myself off that pay before I started bringing in money from other avenues. So, that happened, and I just took it. I've never lived outside of Chicago my entire life, and I never thought it would possibly happen. It's always been a dream of mine, and I've always spoke it, and I've really spoken into existence in a sense, but I wasn't overly confident of it happening per se. After a while, I was. But, I know things happen, and, things occur, and I had my kids and my family and everything was in Chicago. And so it was just one of those situations where I really didn't know how that was going to work out, but it was starting to work out. So I found the apartment was found. The job was gone. It was time for me to move and really discover myself. You really don't know who you are until you take yourself out of your comfort zone. And I did that. There's no one with me, a family or friends or someone's house that I could run to, or someone that I can call to come rescue me in a time of need, or I just removing myself from my comfort zone and rediscovering myself, finding myself in a new city, trying to make new friends, trying new things, being around different environments, just culture and everything like that was something that was really going to test me, my will, and what it was that I wanted in life. And even if I don't stay in Miami forever, it's good that I did that. It's equivalent to kids going to college. Going to college is very healthy. Even though I'm not big on the institution of college, I think going away to a school, being around some people that you don't know, growing, creating self-discipline, because you have to be self-disciplined to get your work done, get up on time, and graduate from the institution. And you have to do that on your own. There's no one waking you up. There's no one taking you to school. You're doing all that on your own. So me going to Miami is equivalent to someone going off to college. It's needed in your growth. And I never went away for college. So this experience was great for me. And then I really wanted to figure out my impact. How did I want to help others? And what was my impact? What was my purpose? And just paying attention to myself and looking at certain things and understanding that I really wanted to give to others and help others understand that they have purpose in life. And it's not just this bullshit 9 to 5. And yes, I'm saying that. Those 9 to 5s are bullshit. If you want to use them as stepping stones to get to your own shit, that's great. But don't lie and stay dormant in the bullshit, because that shit will swallow you up and spit you out. And you look up, and I hear people, I never missed a day of work. They don't give you shit for not missing a day of work most of the time. You just are held in high regard for never missing work. But no plaque goes on the wall. You don't get a building dedicated to you or anything like that. And your kids or family can't go to these places. And most of the time, the people that were working with you won't even be there when your grandchildren or great-grandchildren or other people want to find out who you are. That building will probably be gone, and the people that worked in it will probably be no longer here. So I didn't want to be a part of anything like that. I wanted to create something that for generations down the line, someone can look and say, this is who Ronald was, and this was what he was about, and this is how he impacted me and others as well. So I had to get out of that. I didn't necessarily want it to be held down by those, standards of life. So I got out of that, and writing was something that I never in life thought I would enjoy or like doing and delivering a message. And I really, really enjoy writing. And it's something that was discovered and helped discovered. Someone actually brought it to my attention, and I thank her for that to this day. But she brought it to my attention, and I thought I thought that was crazy. I don't want to write. That sounds like work. But once I started doing it, it was very therapeutic, very fun, and I was able to get my points across very easily that way. So I actually enjoyed doing it, and I created the website, theroninspires.com. And then I started the mentoring program with younger youth in high schools and just talking to them. A lot of young males, especially minority males. And I didn't necessarily directly go after young minority males. There were white kids in the program as well. But just knowing that when I was in high school, messing around, doing nothing with my life, sometimes I needed someone to talk to that wasn't necessarily there being paid by the school. And a lot of kids don't want to talk to those people because the first thing we think of is, oh, you're just doing this because you get paid to do this. You don't genuinely care about me. And for a stranger to come in and do it, not be paid to do it, come from your background and be able to talk to you and understand exactly where you're coming from, whether it's you having sex, having a kid in high school, which we all did, which a lot of us did rather, drugs, peer pressure with gangs and being hood and cool, and that whole stigma of being in the in crowd and being a cool person. That's all bullshit. But we don't realize that in high school, we think being in a cool crowd is exactly what we wanted to do. And I thought that, I really wish I was a fucking weirdo in high school and just went to school, nerded it out, did my work like I was supposed to, and graduated on time. Graduated a year late out of an alternative school because I went to school trying my best to be cool. And that shit didn't even work. Nobody remembers me from high school. And if they do, it's just, oh, that was Ron. He was all right. I don't have any stamp in a high school that I went to for 4 years and never graduated from. So trying to talk to the boys and get them to understand that, this is where you start leaving your mark in life, and go here and do what it is that you're supposed to do and have fun while you're doing it, enjoy life, but make decisions that's not going to hinder you in the future with what it is that you are doing now. Get the education, but take it a step further. If you're doing something on African American studies or European studies, figure out what else was behind that. Read another book on it. Don't just take the curriculum that they give you and swallow it and take that as the knowledge that's given. You have an opportunity now to go read and study and Google search or whatever it is that you need to do and figure out a lot of other things on your own. You can self-educate while you're in school getting the bullshit curriculum that they give you anyway, whether you're in private or whatever. Everybody thinks a private school or this school system is great, or they teach you better here or they teach you better there. No, nobody's going to really give you the greatest education that you possibly can but yourself when you start discovering and peeling the layers back on the bullshit that they give you. Because remember, they are limited as to what it is that they can and cannot teach you that will influence you. So take that time out, ask some questions, dial in, get some things figured out, and don't accept everything that's given to you. So the mentoring program was for that, and now I'm doing a podcast so people can hear my voice. I will get into video more, seeing me talk and things like that, and that'll be soon. That'll be this year sometime. Have to buy some equipment for it and get that situated and be in the type of environment that I want to be in, besides on my living room couch or whatever like that. But I'll figure that out. But I just kind of wanted to leave a stamp and leave a mark, and then me understanding that I love to give and I love to see people happy in receiving, and it's just not material shit or money or whatever, just knowledge. You know, a lot of people are excited when they learn something new because they can use it and or they can remember it or however it is that they may use it in that time. But it's significant, and I wanted to do that for others. The understanding when people discover their passion in life and what it is that they want to do is like a rebirth. It's like being born again, in a sense. You discovering what it is that you want to do in life, and you just thought you wanted to have a good job and dress nice and get some Gucci, Louis, Prada, and drive an okay car, a nice car, whether it was foreign or domestic, and have a nice house with a picket fence and probably get married. And then you discover who you are and realize that you really don't like kids, or you really thought you hated kids, or you discover you love kids, or you realize that you really don't need a companion and you really don't want one to live with, or you discover that you really do want one and you want to be with one. These things have to be figured out within self and just not taken from your upbringing and the people that are around you. A lot of us just tend to follow. 3 to 4 friends get married, you're looking to say, damn, think I need to get a wife. I need to settle down. What the fuck is settling down anyway? Why the fuck do we get older and look to settle down? What the fuck does that mean? Why do I want to amp up? I want to go a whole lot harder in life than what I was as a kid. You only really do wild and crazy and have fun shit go on in your life in your 20s. So you get 10 years of wild and crazy fun, and then after that, it's time to settle down? That's fucking stupid. I still want to travel. I still want to have great fun drinking nights. I still want to go to parties and bars and laugh and joke and maybe jump off a cliff and just enjoy life and not hold myself. I don't want to hold myself to the standards of being an adult based on the fact of what I'm seeing around me and who's around me and what they think of me. I just kind of want to do my own thing and go my own route. So I really, the settling down thing and all of that other things, I just discovered that a lot of that shit is bullshit, and we just take it as it's given to us, and we think that's the way we go because that's what the majority is doing. I don't want to be a part of the majority ever again in life. I want to be the opposite of the majority. I want to be a needle in a haystack. I want to be something that's hard to find or understand, or someone that you just don't get. And I want to be that person. I don't want to be Ryan that worked hard and had a good job and lived here and did this. I want to be more than that. I want to be a provider. I want to have great income. I want to be more than the standard. I want to be more than mediocre. If I do make money, I want to make millions, because I want that money to make money for my children and my grandchildren and my great-great-grandchildren. The fact that J.P. Morgan Chase is on a bank, and whomever his kids were, they were rich, and his kids' kids, they were rich, and his kids' and that goes for multiple races. When you're able to do that and your name is somewhere all the time, every day, all day, you see it. You can't get away from it. From the Chases to Bill Gateses and whomever else it may be, to our entertainers. Jay-Z has the Rock Nation and the Diddy has the Ciroc. People are going to know. I think Ciroc will probably be around for decades to come. It's a good vodka. Everybody likes it, and it's a staple now, So just leaving something more than just I worked hard and died. I just wanted to leave a bigger stamp than that. And I feel like we all should. I feel like everyone should want to do that. And if you don't, we need to figure out how to get you to that point where you want to do something more. And you may not be a money person. Everybody doesn't have to be a millionaire. You may just want a comfortable life and be able to take care of your bills and pay your bills and taking a trip occasionally. But there's ways you can leave your stamp in a way within your community that is all over your community or on your city or on your state or on your country or however it may be. You may just want to do something within and not it be a global thing or anything of that nature. You can still leave a stamp. There can be a park named after you or a street named after you, or your kids can go back and or grandkids can go and find your latest novels or your podcast or your blog or this recipe book that you created that was sold in this store, or your dishes that were sold in another store, or whatever it is that you may want to do. There's a way to leave a stamp on this earth and in this planet. Hey, you may be a Sunday school teacher, but you did more than just teach Sunday school at your church. You did it within the community, and you held classes at home or at a youth center, or you went to every church once a month within a 50-mile radius, and you talked to everyone in those churches, and you did something special for everyone there, and that's how you leave a mark and an impact. It doesn't necessarily have to be the way that I'm telling you, but I need for you listening to this podcast, if you're not in that realm of understanding, to figure out what it is that you want to do for yourself. You have a talent. We all do. We have gifts. It's just a matter of us paying attention to ourselves to realize what our gifts are and what we enjoy doing. And then figuring out what it is that we're doing that's enjoyable to us, how to give it to others to impact their lives and change the lives of others. Yeah, you'll be surprised. You could be a person that enjoys cars and likes to be in car clubs. Oh, okay. Well, you like to be involved in cars and car clubs. Let's start something that impacts our communities and the people around us with the cars and the car clubs. Let's educate little girls and boys on cars and what they do and the different parts. Let's start mechanic classes. Let's start different things and teachings and gatherings for other people to come in and be knowledgeable on what it is that you have passions about. And this is all possible with any and everything that you do, even a video gamer. You're a video gamer, you're broadcasting on YouTube, but then you also want to show people what it is that you do and how you got to the point where you're making $40 to $50 million like the young man is making that was playing Fortnite with Drake online annually or monthly or whatever it is that he's doing, so that others can eventually do it their way and may not make as much money as he does, but make a living and be able to show their children and make it something generational or for their family. And that's possible. But you have to be able to do it and willing to do it. And if you don't and you just want to be dust, that's fine. I don't have a problem with people that want to be dust. But I feel like in 2018, we all have the capabilities of being greater than we ever imagined. And it's up to you to exercise that. And if you feel like you don't want to, you don't have to. There's no pressure in doing it. But I feel like we all have a gift, and I really wish we all would exercise it. So this is why I'm here doing this podcast, to give people the understanding that they can think outside of the box. You can be a quote-unquote free thinker, as Kanye has the rest of the world finally saying and thinking it's clown talk, but that's real talk. You can do and be whatever it is that you want, and you don't necessarily have to follow the societal standard for living in America or any other country. You don't have to get married and have 6 kids, and you don't have to be an overly independent woman and not have anyone on your side. You can do whatever it is that you want to do, but it's time that you discover how to get to that point. My next podcast will be strictly in the fact of self-discovery and where it takes you, and the understanding of that self-discovery is forever. But what I want to do is teach people how to establish the foundation of their lives, and that's the start of your self-discovery. My foundation is positivity, and being around others that are strictly positive, and weeding out the drama and not embracing it, not allowing it in my life, and keeping my mental health at an all-time high, and traveling and experiencing it, just being joyful and understanding that constant is greatly needed in my life at all times. And that's something that I really want to do. Hold on, I have to interrupt my podcast. 1 second. But back to it, just discovering that portion of yourself that you can say, okay, this is where I started. This is my foundation of who I am. Now, I may change over time, but this is where I want to start. I want to start with church. I want to go to church every day, and I want this to be my foundation, and this is who I will start as, and this is what I believe in. Or, I may not want to go to church, or however it is that you want to handle your life. It's time to start that self-discovery process and move forward and understand that there's more to life than what it is that you're doing now. That little hamster wheel that you get on every day and spin around in circles, going about your life, is not always the way. And some people want to do that for the remainder of their lives, and to whom wants to do that, more power to you. But I don't feel like we should live our lives that way. I hope you all understand that. Much love to you. Taking a different direction on this podcast, staying out of the bullshit, letting us social media people handle the drama and the bullshit, and we're going to stay positive and forward thinking on here. Once again, I am Ron. You can go to roninspires.com, read some of the articles that I've posted. I have other articles on fearlessmotivation.com and motivationalgrid.com. You can also check old podcast episodes where I'm going over certain things and just trying to give a positive spin on it as well, or give a different outlook on it. And I hope to impact and do as much as I possibly can with this podcast and the people that are listening to it. And next week we will go over the steps to your self-discovery and how you can go farther with yourself and your life. And love to you all. Have an amazing day. And thank you for listening. Once again, this is Ron, roninspires.com. Go buy a shirt, give a shirt away, do whatever it is that you want. But I thank you for listening, and be well.